Chicago looks affordable on a listing until the tax bill and winter utilities show up. You see a cute apartment with a price that looks normal and think this is no big deal, I can handle that. But the real cost of living here only appears when you stack rent or mortgage, property taxes, winter heat, transportation, and healthcare into one picture. Today, we're going to walk through that picture like two friends planning a move, line by line. By the end, you will know whether Chicago is a smart financial move for you or a city that looks fun but squeezes your budget too hard. We are going to talk about real trade-offs, not just averages on a website. First, we hit housing, renting versus buying. Then we add utilities, internet, transportation, and insurance. Next, we talk about income, taxes, schools, safety, and healthcare. Finally, we close with two simple budget examples, one for a solo renter and one for a family of three, so you can actually feel the math in real life. And in a minute, I will show you one property tax number that makes a lot of Chicago homeowners question whether buying really beats renting. Let us start where most people start, with rent. Right now, many one-bedroom apartments in solid neighborhoods often land somewhere in the low $2,000 range each month, commonly around $2,300 depending on location and amenities. If you need more space, two-bedroom places often sit around $3,000, and three-bedroom rentals frequently land in the mid-$3,000 range or higher in hot areas. So what is the monthly number that would actually let you sleep well at night? If your comfortable maximum rent is already near what Chicago is charging, you will not have much room left for surprise expenses. And this city is very good at surprise expenses. Now let us talk about buying, because compared with the coasts, Chicago can look like a bargain. The median home price in the city has been sitting in the mid-$300,000 range, roughly around $355,000 for a typical property. That sounds reasonable for a big job market with real culture and amenities. But the moment you decide to own instead of rent, property taxes step into the spotlight. Illinois and Chicago are known for having some of the highest property taxes in the country. In many parts of the Chicago area, effective tax rates on owner-occupied homes often land somewhere between about 1.5% and almost 2% of the home's value each year. That range does not sound huge until you do the math. Take that $355,000 home. At roughly 1.5% to almost 2%, you are looking at something around $5,500 to maybe $6,500 every year in property taxes. Spread out, that is roughly $460 to a little over $530 every single month added on top of your mortgage and insurance. Now layer in condos and homeowners associations. In many Chicago condo buildings, especially in the core or in trendy neighborhoods, monthly association fees often fall somewhere between about $300 and $600. In taller luxury buildings with gyms, door staff, and pools, the fees can go higher than that. The good news is that those fees sometimes cover heat, water, garbage, and shared amenities. The bad news is that they never go away, and they can eat into any rental income if you plan to turn that condo into an investment later. So when people ask, is it better to rent or buy in Chicago? The real answer is, it depends on your time horizon and your tolerance for property taxes and association fees. Renting might look less glamorous, but for some people, it leaves far more flexibility and cash flow. Let us shift to utilities, especially winter utilities. If you are coming from a warmer state, Chicago winters are not just about snow and cute photos. They are about heating bills. For a typical 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, a realistic average for total utilities, including heat, electricity, and basic services, often lands somewhere between roughly $200 and $300 a month over the year. In the coldest months, especially in older or drafty buildings, that number can jump past $300 in a single month just to keep the place livable. Have you ever opened a winter bill and thought there is no way this is right? That happens a lot here. Then you stack on internet. Fast home internet for remote work and streaming usually sits somewhere around $70 to maybe $100 a month. So before food or fun, you already have housing, property taxes or association fees, utilities, and internet taking their slice. Transportation is where Chicago can either save you a ton of money or quietly drain it. If you set up your life around public transit, the L and buses are real tools, not just lines on a map. A 30-day unlimited transit pass costs around $75 and can cover most of your commuting life. If you choose a neighborhood near a train line and accept a little walking, living car light, or even car-free, is actually realistic here. That choice alone can save you thousands of dollars each year. On the flip side, if you hang on to a car out of habit, the costs pile up. Parking near downtown or in dense neighborhoods can easily run into the low hundreds of dollars per month, and some buildings charge extra for garage spots. Gas itself is manageable, but it adds up over time. The big line item is car insurance. Full coverage car insurance in Chicago often averages somewhere around $280 to roughly $300 a month for many drivers. That is a big chunk of money every single month for something you hope you never have to use. So here is a question that really matters. If you moved to Chicago, could you realistically build a life around trains and buses, or would giving up the car feel impossible? Your honest answer changes your monthly budget more than almost anything else. Now let us talk about income, because none of these prices mean much until we know what is coming in. Chicago is a serious job hub with finance, logistics, healthcare, manufacturing, education, professional services, and tech all represented. The median household income in the city now sits in the mid-$70,000 range per year. Many professionals earn more and many workers earn less, but that number tells you roughly where the middle sits. A software engineer in Chicago might see average pay in roughly the low $120,000 range. A registered nurse in Illinois often earns somewhere in the mid to high $70,000 range, with specialized roles paying more. Those salaries sound strong on paper, but then taxes and deductions arrive. Between federal income tax, state income tax, Social Security and Medicare, plus health insurance and retirement contributions, a six-figure salary can shrink to something that feels a lot more ordinary every month. Illinois uses a flat state income tax rate, which means the same percentage applies across income levels. Add federal taxes, and many middle to upper middle income earners see something like a quarter to roughly a third of their paycheck gone before it ever hits their bank account. Chicago also has one of the highest combined sales tax rates among major United States cities, sitting in the double-digit percentage range once you stack state, county, and city taxes. That means a big furniture purchase, or even a normal month of shopping, quietly costs more than the sticker prices suggest. Next up, schools and safety, because those two factors often push people towards certain neighborhoods or into the suburbs. Chicago Public Schools is a massive system with neighborhood schools, magnet programs, and selective enrollment options. Some schools and nearby suburban districts are known for strong academics and resources. Others face more challenges with funding and stability. If you have kids, your housing search quickly becomes a school search and a commute search at the same time. On safety, the headlines and the lived reality can feel very different. Yes, Chicago has a violent crime rate higher than the national average, but crime is not evenly spread across the map. Some neighborhoods feel full of joggers, strollers, and dog walkers late into the evening. Others deal with more gun violence and property crime. So the smarter question is not, is Chicago safe, but which specific areas feel right for me and my family? Now let us talk healthcare, the category that can blow up any budget in any city. The good news is that Chicago has top-tier hospital systems, from big academic centers to community hospitals and clinics. If you need specialists or advanced care, you will find them here. The hard part is what it costs. If you have employer coverage, the total premium for single coverage often lands in the low to mid $500 range each month, and your employer usually pays most of that. Your share might feel like somewhere between a little over $100 and a couple $100 quietly coming out of your paycheck. For family coverage, the full premium can easily sit around the low to mid $1,500 range each month, depending on the plan. If you are self-employed or buying on the marketplace, health insurance can become one of your largest monthly bills. Deductibles in the range of a few $1,000s per year are common. That means one emergency room visit or unexpected procedure can wipe out months of careful saving. So when you see a salary number in Chicago, it helps to ask how much of that will still be mine after healthcare. All right, let us bring this all together with two simple budget snapshots. First, a solo renter. Imagine you rent a one-bedroom in a solid neighborhood for about $2,300 a month. Your average utilities come out to maybe $250 across the year, and internet adds roughly $80. You decide to skip the car and grab a monthly transit pass for $75. Groceries for one adult can easily land in the $400 to $500 range most months. Add maybe $300 to $400 for eating out, entertainment, clothes, and small surprises. When you stack it all together, that solo renter is likely spending somewhere in the ballpark of $3,300 to maybe $3,800 every month before travel, big savings goals, or debt payments. If you bring home around $5,500 a month after taxes from a solid professional job, that leaves roughly $1,700 to a little over $2,000 for saving, investing, or upgrading your lifestyle. Does that feel comfortable for you, or does it already feel tight? Now picture a renting family of three. You find a three-bedroom in a family-friendly neighborhood for roughly $3,600 a month. Utilities for that larger space average may be $300 to $350 across the year, with winter bills on the higher side. Internet stays around $80. You keep one car for school runs and errands. Maybe that looks like $200 a month for gas, $200 for parking or garage space, and around $280 for full coverage car insurance. You might also add a small transit pass budget for commuting into the city. Groceries for two adults and one child can easily land between $800 and $1,000 most months. Kid-related costs, daycare, after-school programs, sports, activities, and clothes can very quickly add another $600 to $800 each month without feeling extravagant. Phone plans, streaming services, birthday parties, and surprise school expenses pile on top. When you add it all, that family can easily see a core monthly spend somewhere in the range of $4,900 to maybe $5,800 before vacations or aggressive saving. For that to feel comfortable, many families want household take-home pay somewhere around at least $8,000 a month. Below that, life in Chicago is still absolutely possible, but you live with a much smaller cushion and more pressure from every unexpected bill. So what does all of this mean if you are thinking about moving to Chicago or buying there? Here is the honest bottom line. Chicago can be a great value if you land a good job, lean on public transit, and stay very intentional about property taxes, association fees, and healthcare. If you crave big city energy, diverse neighborhoods, and real culture without New York or San Francisco housing prices, Chicago can absolutely deliver that. But it is not a cheap city once you look beyond the base rent and factor in taxes, winter utilities, and insurance. If you are raising a family and want more space, strong schools, and a car-heavy lifestyle, you may end up in the suburbs trading even higher property tax bills for a different version of stability. There is no single right version of Chicago, only the one that fits your income and priorities. So now I want to hear from you. After hearing these numbers, does Chicago feel like a smart move, or did something make you pump the brakes? Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell me which city you want me to break down next. And if you want to keep building a clear, no-nonsense picture of what life really costs in different cities, tap on the next video in this series. The clearer you see the numbers, the easier it is to choose a city that truly fits your money, your time, and the future you want. Sources for rent levels, home prices, property tax rates, utilities, transit fares, car insurance, incomes, and health insurance costs are based on recent data for Chicago and Illinois.